to you live from ITS Hurst. I'm Miss James. I'm the aesthetics instructor here. This is my sweet student, Haley, and she's going to be doing a repoussage facial for you guys. Before she gets started, she's going to be using her hand gel sanitizer. Then she's going to be cleansing the skin. Usually these facials take like 45 minutes to an hour, but for time's sake, we're compressing it somewhat. Okay, so she's going to be doing the effleurage movement for her cleansing, which is stroking and circles. Then she'll be rinsing. You want to make sure you get everything rinsed off really well. You don't want to leave any of the cleanser behind. Okay. So the next thing she's going to do is some toner. She's going to put some toner on there to even out the pH of her skin. Toner to cleanser is like developer to hair color. That's actually what a repoussage teacher told me a long time ago. Okay, so you need one, you need them both, not just one. Okay, so next we have the scrub, and she's going to apply the scrub with the mask brush. And the purpose of the scrub is to take off any dead skin cells off of the top layer of the skin known as the stratum corneum. At home, you should be exfoliating your skin at least twice a week. So she's going to do some more effleurage to get the scrub to start working good. Loosening up the dead skin cells so that they will slough off once she rinses. So then she's going to rinse.
I see that we have Miss Rachel watching. Hi, Miss Rachel.
Okay, so next she's going to be putting her mud mask. The mud mask has healing agents for the skin. Also, the mud mask is water-based. So that means that not only is it healing your skin, but it's also hydrating your skin. Really, really good for your skin, especially if you have any blemishing or any scarring or anything like that.
Miss James, there's a lady, Miss Jennifer, who said that she would love this job.
Well, this is my job and you can't have it. But yes, I love aesthetics. It's a whole different world from cosmetology. Cosmetology is great, but aesthetics is just more relaxing. It's more calm, and even if you're doing the facial, you are still relaxed. You are just as relaxed as the person that's getting the facial. Okay, so once she's had that on, normally we would wait 5 to 8 minutes, but since we're just going through this, we're gonna go ahead and she's going to do what we call a barber wrap. Okay, so it's just a hot towel that we put in the cavity and we roll it a certain way. It seems really hot to the hands, but most of the time the client really likes the temperature. So they'll let you know if they don't want it that warm. And it cools off real easy. So she's kind of patting that down into her skin, and it's very relaxing. Once she's done that, she's going to remove it. She's going to turn it inside out. And she's going to rinse it off or clean it off. This facial is the facial that we do the majority of the time when we have clients because there's more massage involved. She's going to do her facial massage, and while she does that, I'm going to do a hand and arm massage on one hand, one arm, this one. Do you need this one? I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so she's going to do the basic massage that we do at State Board. So she's doing an effleurage first, and you can do the same thing on the arms and hands. So I'm going to take Jada's hand, and we're going to put some lotion on her, and I like to start it like this. The next thing that Haley's going to do is petrissage, which is pinching. And she's pinching all across the eyebrows because we don't have any adipose tissue in our foreheads that we can pinch. Then last but not least, she's going to do tapotement. And then she'll end again with effleurage. Okay, and of course we do both hands and both arms during the mask. So we're just kind of condensing this. Okay, so after she's done that, the last thing she's going to do, she's going to do her moisturizer and or the SPF 30. So.
Miss James, there's a Miss Jessica who said, I seriously need one of these. So
Yes.
she's enjoying the facial that you're giving.
Yes, Jessica, and you know what? Everybody needs one of these because of our hectic lives. This is just the thing you need just to close down for a little while and be pampered. We're always, as women, we're always pampering everybody else. So you need to take time and pamper yourself. Very good. You did a great job. Okay, well, thank you for joining us today. Now you're going to go see Miss Denise, is that right?
Yeah, come on down. Oh, hey guys, hey. I'm Miss Denise of the ITS Academy of Hurst. I'm the floor instructor. This is my student, Rose. She's also a clinic student. And this is our sweet Miranda. She's also a clinic student, and she's going to be our model today. We're going to do daytime makeup. We're going to do this side the correct way and this side the not correct way. So like a lot of mistakes that people make, the oopsies and the doopsies, we're going to show you how not to do it. How like if you don't blend properly, how it shows up. So we're going to begin with sanitizing our hands, and then we're going to start.
So to begin, we're going to go ahead and go in with a dip brow. This is a gel. And we're just going to start by filling her eyebrows in the correct way. As you can see, she has a couple of hairs that don't go where we want the eyebrow to go. We're going to go ahead and conceal those just because we want to form the eyebrow the way we want it. We don't want to go based off of the eyebrow. And then on the don't side, we're going to go ahead and do the whole eyebrow just as it is.
So straight across. So this is a problem that a lot of women have, and eyebrows are so in right now. I mean, everybody has eyebrows, which I'm so glad that they went away from that little tiny eyebrow. No one, that wasn't cute. That wasn't cute for anybody. So we're just shaping her how she doesn't have the actual arch that most people are wanting. So we're just going to create an arch for her.
Yeah, so right now we're just outlining, and I like to drag my product up just to give it a little bit of a softer look. And then now we're going to create the arch.
Oh, arching.
Now, if this is a little light for you because it's gel, you can always go back in with a little bit of eyeshadow or just a brow eyeshadow and then just fill it in.
Could you also use a pencil?
Yes, you can also use a pencil.
Okay. I feel like the cream's a little more movable.
Yes, and then it's easier to work with just in case you need to fix anything.
Okay.
So here in the front, we're just going to fade it up just a little bit. And then your spoolie is your best friend because you can spoolie out any color that you don't like.
So any excess that's left behind?
See, now I'm just going to go ahead and fill in anything that I feel needs a little bit more color.
Let me see. Oh, nice. Look at that arch, ladies. Look at that arch.
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and move to the don't side. And in the don't side, you can see that her eyebrow has a little bit hairs down here. And we're going to go ahead and follow those hairs.
So again, this is our don't side. We're just following what she already has. We're not going to try to create anything. We're just going with what she already has.
Another mistake that people do is that they don't use their spoolie and they just apply the product, leaving a bunch of harsh lines or too much color.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that on this one so that way you guys can see the difference.
See, and then they just fill it in like this. So it just gives it a really harsh look.
Almost looks like a stencil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have a stencil for a brow. Huh? Oh. Oh, so pretty. Remember, this is the don't side.
Okay, so now I'm going to go in with some concealer.
So what is the concealer doing?
This is going to fix any mistakes we made, and it's also going to highlight the bottom of the brow. You can do concealer all over the brow, or you can do foundation on top and concealer at the bottom. Some people don't like that. Sometimes it looks a little bit highlighted at the top, so that's why they do the foundation at the top. So again, we're just going to do the same thing we did. We're going to cover any little hairs that we don't want.
So you can see how her putting the concealer on there is making it a little more defined. It's more, let's say if she had any mistakes with while she was applying the brow, she could clean it up with this. So now she's just making it more defined. And we're not going to do anything to this other side. Just soft strokes, making sure that she doesn't erase what she already did. Already looks nice.
So then we're going to take a fluffy brush and we're just going to buff that out. Now, sometimes when you do apply concealer, it kind of looks a little harsh. So you can always go back in with your spoolie and just fix around the eyebrow.
And it just kind of brushes out the hairs.
You can always go back in and fix anything that you would like to fix. There you go.
Very nice.
Okay, so the other side, that's how we're going to leave it because some people don't clean their eyebrows and some people leave them a little bit too harsh. So that's going to be on the other side.
Okay.
Okay, so next to prime the eyelids, I'm going to take a little bit of concealer. It works the same as eye primer. I personally, when I do makeup on other people, that's what I use.
Okay. So right now, if you guys are just tuning in, we're prepping her eyes for eyeshadow. So this is a primer. It kind of helps that shadow stay where she's putting it. We're not going to put any on this side because this is our don't side, so that way you can see the difference when you don't have a primer in the eye. Sometimes when women sweat, they'll have like a crease when they close their eyes. So a lot of times the shadows will clump up and it'll separate the two colors. So we're going to save this one alone so you can see the don't.
Okay, so now we're just going to take a little bit of loose powder, and this is a translucent powder. We're just going to use it to set that area that we just applied the eye primer. Okay, and then if you have too much powder on there, you can go ahead and just dust it off. And now we can begin on the eyeshadow. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this orangey brown color.
Veronica, I see that you're watching. Thank you for joining us.
I'm going to go ahead and take it just on the outer portion of the eye. Remember that this is a daytime look, so we're only going to take it to about halfway of the eye. And on the don't side, we're going to go ahead and brush it all the way in.
Now the don't side, how she's going to brush the eyeshadow that she's doing all the way in, we're going to show you later on in the video how it makes the eyes look really smaller, condenses them down, and so this way staying on the outer corners is keeping the eye open, makes it bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So we're using a gold color today. She has green eyes, so we want to accentuate the color that she has in her eyes, and she's going to use a brown, and she may use, I think there's a little bit of a glitter taupe color that she's going to have on the outside. So this is our don't side, and we're just covering the whole lid.
Okay, and then we're going to take this other color. It's about It's just a little bit more brown. I'm just gonna go ahead again and just on the outer.
So she's just blending in.
And again on the don't side, we're gonna blend all the way in. And we're not blending the don't side out.
So you can already see the difference. This is making her eye look a little smaller. This is more open and fresh.
Okay, so with another fluffy brush, I'm just gonna go in with this other shimmery orangey brown color. And again, I'm just gonna take it on the outer portion of her eyes. And as you notice, I'm just flicking it down so the product doesn't go over, because we want this area clean. So whenever we put our pearl color on, it shows up more. And again, we're gonna do what we did on the other side to the don't side, but except we're gonna go ahead and brush it in.
And you can see by brushing it in on the don't side, it will have dust of shadow inside the outer corner, and that can make her look like she has dark circles around her eyes, and that's what we want to eliminate.
Okay, so I'm just gonna take these kind of purpley brown colors, and again, just on the outer portion of the eye.
Turn your head.
And now again, we're gonna go ahead in the don't side, and we're gonna take that dark color all the way in. So I don't really recommend it going in all the way to the front, just because it makes you look tired, it makes it look really messy, and it just isn't a daytime look. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and fix anything on the do side, and then we're not gonna do that on the don't side before we apply our shimmer.
So now she's doing the finishing touches on the eyeshadow. And again, we're finishing on this side and we're not finishing on this side, so you can see how harsh it looks if you don't blend in.
So now we're just taking that pearl color right in the front section of the eye. And as you can see, it just looks way more just nice, neat than on the other side.
A lot cleaner looking.
Yeah.
Very daytime too.
And then now we're gonna put the pearl on this side, and it's gonna barely show because you have all those colors covering it.
So this is the do and this is the don't.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and take a darker color, the one that we had put at first for the outer. I'm just gonna run it. I'm just gonna run it across the lash line just to give it a eyeliner effect. Okay, and for the other side, we're gonna go ahead and use a dark eyeliner. The reason that you don't want to use just a straight eyeliner whenever you're doing a daytime is because it looks too harsh. And that's what we're going to go ahead and show you on the don't side.
And you can see on the don't side, once she's done applying, it's going to make her eye look so much smaller. And any woman that's a woman wants their eyes to look big and beautiful. So you don't want it to look tiny, itty bitty.
Another common mistake that people usually make is they make the eyeliner too thick. So it's okay to wear darker eyeliner whenever you are doing a daytime look. Just do a very thin line instead of a really big thick line. So now we're gonna go ahead and go in with eyelashes. So I'm gonna do the don't side. Usually people don't let the eyelash get tacky, and that's why the eyelash or moves, or it just doesn't look like you placed it right. So we're not gonna give the don't side very much time to dry. On the do side, we are gonna let it get tacky just so you could see the difference and how much easier it is to work with it. Okay, so this is our don't side. Go ahead and close your eyes. As you can see, if she were to want to open her eyes right away and she blinks, her eyelash would actually move as she blinks, and it would dry just wherever it would sit.
It was
whenever it would get tacky.
So on the do side, we're letting the glue get a little tacky, and it's easier to apply, and it dries a lot faster. Looking good.
Okay, so now that we're gonna go ahead and begin on the face, I'm just gonna go ahead and take a makeup wipe, and we're going to clean off any excess powder eyeshadow that maybe fell. This is why we don't do our foundation first, just so we don't mess up our foundation and all that hard work we just did. And we just clean it off simple, easy with the makeup wipe.
Okay.
So we're gonna go ahead and prime. Usually you ask your client what kind of skin tone she has before you prime, because if she's oily, there's a bunch of different things you can do for that. So I just like to dot it first. I mean, my hands are clean, I did sanitize. So I just like to dot it. So after that, I just wanna take a brush. I like to use this brush. It's a foundation brush, but I use it for my primer and just smooth it out.
So this is going to eliminate any dry spots, and so that way when she puts the foundation on, it's going to go on very smoothly.
Yes, on the don't side, you'd normally not do it, but we don't want Miranda to break out, so that's why we did it, because we are applying makeup to her face, and regardless, don't side or do side, we're going to do that to Miranda too.
Yeah. So we want to make you pretty.
Okay, so after that, you go ahead and take your foundation. I'm going to be applying the foundation with a beauty blender on the do side, and I'm going to use the same brush that I used for our primer on the don't side, just so you can see the difference and the fact that it'll be way more streaky with the brush.
Okay.
So you just want to use light tapping motions. And you always want to blend down the neck. Make sure that you don't leave any line of the foundation.
So you can see with the beauty blender, the foundation is really just sitting on the face. It's not really soaking into the face. It's looking more natural. You can still see her beautiful skin underneath it. It's not super heavy coverage. Her sweet freckles.
And you can go ahead and apply as much as you want, just preference. I'm going to go in with another pump. And again, don't forget, if you're going with another pump, again, drag it down the neck, because you can always see where you leave off. So just always try to blend it.
And we're going to show you on the don't side, she's going to stop right at the jawline, and you can see that there's two different shades on her skin tone. You want to accentuate your face. You don't want it to be noticeable that you have a lot of makeup on. So pretty.
Okay, so now on the don't side, we're going to do exactly the same thing, except we're going to use a brush, and we're now going to blend it down our neck. If you get close enough to see on our forehead, you can see all those little streaks. And that's why I prefer to use the Beauty Blender, because it just eliminates those little streaks.
And again, on the don't side, we're going to leave this line alone. We're not going to blend it down. That way you can see where it's noticeable, where women don't blend that down. Again, this is the don't side. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay, now we're going to go in with the same concealer that we use to outline her eyebrows. And we're not going to be putting concealer on the don't side, because that's a common mistake people make, is they just use the foundation. Bring your eyes to me. And they don't cover any discoloration under the eyes. So as you can see, we're using a little bit of a lighter concealer, and what this helps is give the highlight illusion to the face.
So it just brightens. It's going to make her look more awake. If she didn't get much sleep last night, no one's going to know.
Okay, so right after that, you want to go ahead and set. I'm going to use a translucent powder. So I personally don't like to set that long, just because there's a trick called the baking method, but sometimes if the client doesn't want too much of heavy makeup and you let it sit too long, the powder actually makes it look way more cakey. So I'm going to go in with just some regular face powder, and I'm just going to dust all of that off. Again, pressing into the skin, not swiping, just because that will make your foundation move. And this just kind of pushes everything in and sets everything.
Swipey, no swipey?
Yeah. Swipe. Okay, and on the other side, we're not going to set, just because some people like the dewy look and they don't set, but that's a really big mistake, because then your foundation actually shifts throughout the day.
And if you're oily, if you have oily skin, it's going to look even more oily. So you can notice that the don't side is not as happy as the happy side.
So now we're going to go ahead and take just a bronzer, and we're going to contour her cheeks. So I like to just lightly tap it on her face. You don't want to get too rough in there. And if you notice, I always hold my brush very light, just so I'm not harshly putting the product on. You can also create lines in the face if you do that. And I always keep it about, I always put my brush at the top of the ear, and I just run my brush like this, and usually that lets you know where your contour goes. Don't swipe just across or to the sides, just always swipe it up. That'll help so the bottom doesn't look all ugly and
Harsh. Yeah. And we're going to show you on the don't side all the things that she's saying not to do, so that way you can see what it leaves when you do that. So this is just accentuating her cheekbone, giving her a little more definition without being so harsh. It looks very natural.
Okay, so now on the don't side, we're actually going to powder her up. Don't forget that we didn't use a setting powder to set. So this is gonna be her powder and it's gonna actually absorb in it. So you're gonna see it way darker for the same reason that we made the mistake of not setting. See how harsh I'm putting it on and how harsh it's coming off?
Very smudgy.
And you can see that where I laid it first, it made a point. It kind of like leaves exactly where I put it on. Leaves traces. Now we're gonna move on to blush, and for blush, I'm gonna do something really light, nothing too exaggerated because it is the daytime blush. And if you don't know exactly where blush goes, you could just ask your client to smile, and you put it right on the apples of the cheeks. Don't swipe it all the way back because it'll just look messy, and then your bronzer and your blush will mix together, and it just makes a really, just not a fun color. So now we're gonna take an even darker blush, which is what a lot of people do. They don't know how to match their blushes, so they usually take a darker blush and they swipe it all the way back.
So again, this is our don't side, what she's doing right now. You can immediately see the difference, how it looks harsh, very liney. It's like someone slapped her with blush. This is Happy, a princess slapped her.
So now we're gonna go in with highlight, and highlight goes just right above, right under your eye, and we're just gonna add just a little bit, just like that. You just wanna dust it on. Now on the other side, we're gonna use a really light highlight, which is what a lot of people do. They use a color that's too light for them, and they just put it on. They just cake it on, and that's what we look like.
Like a fairy facha. That's what that looks like. Not so good. So good.
Okay, so now we're gonna go in and we're gonna mess with the eyeshadows again. We're gonna go in with the two first shades that we did use. We're gonna run it on the bottom lash line. Look up at me. And then we're gonna move on to the darker color that we used, and we're just gonna take a little bit. And this, we're not gonna run it all the way across. We're just gonna put it at the end, just so she can wake up a little bit more. Just like that.
You just opened her eye a little more.
And then on the don't side, we're gonna go in with a even darker color, and it's gonna make her look, her eyes a little bit more smaller. And we're not gonna blend it.
So you can immediately see the difference, a lot of mistakes that women make. So this just immediately looks brighter, refreshed, very natural, and this looks very harsh. Little makeup goes a lot better than a lot of makeup. So now she's gonna put lips. We're gonna do lips, and we're gonna show you the difference on, to keep it very natural, and how people accentuate the lip on the other side. And they go way above the lip line, and it looks very dramatic, and we're gonna show you what not to do.
So this is the do side. We're just going to go with her lip, and if we can, or if she would like, we can just outline just a little bit. And then on the don't side, we're gonna make the lip way bigger. Just see how much more unnatural that looks. That just looks way too big.
So again, if you're just tuning in, this is our don't side, and this is our do side.
So now I'm going to put some setting spray. Now I do setting spray before mascara just in case they flinch. It just doesn't smear their mascara. So we're gonna go ahead and set the do side, but we're not gonna set the don't side. Now I like to go in with the beauty blender, just tap everything out because sometimes you get little splotches of
The setting spray?
the setting spray.
Okay. Looking very pretty.
Now this is where you would fix anything that you want to fix. Now that the eyelashes are on and everything, you would fix anything that you see looks a little bit or just if you want to add any color.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and add just a little bit of color to the side, to the do side.
Hi, Brandy. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Yessie. I know. We're trying to give you good tips for the trade.
Okay, so now we're just gonna put a little bit of mascara on, and we're just gonna put it on her.
So what
top
she's
lashes.
doing now is her natural lashes she's going to combine with the eyelashes that we put on there, so that way you can't tell that she's wearing eyelashes. And then on this side we're going to leave it alone, and you can kind of notice how it kind of separates. You can see the lower lash and then her top lash. Okay. Okay, so again, this is the don't and this is the do. You can see a big difference on what to do and what not to do. Thank you for joining us.